Hello and welcome to today's battle report. My second game of the weekend. Let's hope I don't get rusty. We are again practicing for the tournament we're going to next month. This time Chris and I, there's Chris hiding over there, are playing against Troo. There's Troo. We are going to practice with our army that you saw a couple of battle reports back, which is our Blood Angel and Impy Guard force, and Troo is taking a solid Blood Angel force. When we get to the armies you'll see the brutality she has taken against us. But this is a table we're playing on today. I have been making a bit of terrain, so I have made a large phallic mountain for a centrepiece of the table. It has a little tunnel in it. We are playing the Scouring today, so there are 6 objectives scattered around the table. We haven't revealed the points of them yet because we don't do that until after we've set up, but one is there, one is over there, one is hiding in that forest there, one is back here, another one is hiding down here, and finally the last one, you might be able to see it, is in the tunnel in the mountainside. Okay, let's see what we brought in our armies today.
And welcome to the Good Guys host, as we're here because we're going to kill those traitorous Blood Angels over there. As you see, we're being led by this librarian who has gone into his powers and he's got prescience and precognition. We're not so keen on the precognition, but the prescience will be quite handy later on. The bulk of the force is the Sanguinary Priest-led assault squad with 2 melters and a fist.
There is not a fist
There's
in that
no
one.
fist in that squad.
We ran out of points.
Indeed, 1,000 points don't go that far. A Devastator squad with 4 missile launchers to provide us a bit of long-range punch, as well a scout unit with some sniper rifles and a missile launcher. To add a bit of beef to it, we've got some Terminators at back with a Cyclone missile launcher, always loving a bit of Cyclone, and there's a Chain Fist down there for chopping things to tiny little pieces. And a Whirlwind finishes off the Blood Angel side. For the Imperial Guardsmen, we have the obligatory 2 Vendettas. Who would not take 2 Vendettas? And then the ground forces. A Lord Commissar with Power Fist is leading 30 Guardsmen in a ginormous blob of death.
I will eat them.
Backed up by a Demolisher and an Eradicator. That's an Eradicator. We're proxying him at the moment. I'm still painting him. Obviously as well, but that's not the point right now. A platoon command squad here with 4 grenade launchers, and in one of the Vendettas we'll be packing a vet squad with trip melter because it's the law. There we go. See how we do.
Over on the actual Good Guys side, we have
Traitors!
Mephiston, obviously. This is the Sanguinor because we don't have a Sanguinor painted at the moment. We have an assault squad of 10 chaps. They have a Sanguinary Priest with them. They have an Assault Terminator squad. They will also have a Priest with them and their own friendly Land Raider Crusader. We have a Storm Raven gunship. We have a squad of 5 scouts. They've got some sniper rifles and camo cloaks and a missile launcher. Veteran Vanguard squad, lightning claws, melter bombs, jump packs, none of which are represented, and the paint is only arbitrary, and a Furioso Dreadnought with just his blood talons because they're very nice.
Okay, just going to show you the pre-game setup. Troo won the roll to see which table edge she wanted, so she is going first, and she also got the table edge, so she is set up over here. She has her Land Raider there, and as always, Mephiston is hiding behind the Land Raider. Sanguinary Priest and all of the assault squad are there, ready to leap forward into combat, and that's the Sanguinor there, also ready to charge forward. They are using the large phallic mountain in the centre. Look, it even casts a massive shadow. How big could that thing be? So they're using that as cover. They've also set up a scout squad up here, just out of line of sight of our Devastators over there. So we have set up our Devastators here. You can see we have a Demolisher below it there. We forgot when we were doing our army a minute ago that we also have an attack bike because it's not painted, it wasn't on the table. So he is hiding down there and he's got a multi-melter. We set up our blob squad over here and we have a Terminator squad behind them with the Librarian set up in the middle of that. We've got our company command squad, platoon's command squad even hiding up there behind the sandbags, just where an Imperial Guard should be. We've got our Eradicator and our Whirlwind over there, and our scouts infiltrated in that corner there next to that objective. Okay, let's see how it goes.
Blood Angels turn 1. Pretty much everyone ran forward because it's night fighting at the moment, so that's not a terribly shooty bunch. So these guys moved up, Mephiston got a 6 on his run, so he kept up with the tank. These guys jiggled around a little bit, took some pot shots, didn't do anything, and the Crusader took some pot shots, didn't do anything, and that's it.
Blood Angel Imperial Guard, turn 1. It was not exactly a bloodfest. The Eradicator moved over to the side to allow it to drop some fire over to those Marines, which I'll cover in a moment. The Whirlwind remained where it was. Everything else pretty much remained where it was, apart from our brave attack bike, which decided to go and headlong into a Land Raider. And the Demolisher, thank you, who moved around slightly to be able to get a shot into it as well. As you may notice, it has no wound markings or anything on it, yes. A multi-melter at near point-blank range, and the Demolisher cannon did squat to it, neither penetrating. Both hit, no penetrations. Mephiston, as usual, cowers behind and is fine. The Assault Marines have taken 2 wounds though. The Eradicator, with its Eradicator cannon, heavy bolters and heavy stubber, managed to whittle down 2 of them. But that really is it for the shooting. Over here, the Devastators decided that being long-range support wasn't their lot in life anymore, and they charged at the Scouts. They didn't bother shooting, they just locked into close combat, and the Scout Sergeant accepted a challenge from the Devastator Sergeant and died, and another one died in the ensuing melee as well. The Space Marines came out without a scratch. The Scouts failed their leadership, got caught in a sweeping advance, and just sat there going, all right then, let's keep fighting. All in all, not the most vicious first turns, but the night fighting roll comes off next turn, and that will help us with a bit of shooting.
Blood Angels turn 2. The Storm Raven popped everything it had over here and has done a single hull point. Great. These chaps offloaded and have, I think, knocked off about 50% of this blob squad?
Yeah, I think they killed about 13,
Quite
14
close,
of them.
isn't it? But they've lost a couple of guys in return. These guys are all chasing the tank because it's the most sensible thing to do. The Sanguinor is hiding in a tunnel. And
Hopefully we don't notice him.
these boys didn't make it, I'm afraid, so I think that's the first victory point of the game, isn't it?
Devastators are awesome in close combat.
Apparently so. Yep.
Okay, Imperial Guard and Blood Angels turn 2. So our Vendetta arrived with the Melter Vets inside, as did our Assault Marines over there. The Vendetta screamed onto the table, fired its 3 triple las cannons into the Storm Raven, got a couple of penetrating hits, so Troo went evasive, made one of her cover saves. We only rolled a 1 on the damage roll, so it's shaken and stunned, meaning it has to move 18 next turn, so it's going to end up about there and probably kill some of our dudes down there. The Whirlwind over here, along with the Eradicator tank, poured fire into the assault squad that was down here, killing all but the Sergeant and the Sanguinary Priest, so it's pretty good rolling. The assault squad then opened fire on the said Sergeant and Priest, managing to do 0 wounds with their 2 melter guns and 9 bolt pistols. So the Scouts over here had to take up the slack, managing to pick off both of the characters who were left standing. Our assault bike again went round here, shot a Land Raider, again did nothing, wasn't brilliant. The Demolisher, on the other hand, shot at Mephiston, hoping to hit the Land Raider as well, but it scattered its big shot, managed to put 1 wound on Mephiston. The Devastators up here, they also contributed fire to wiping out the assault squad. Over here, the Terminators cast Prescience on themselves and went to charge into combat, hoping to clip one side of the combat so they wouldn't be hit back very much, and to wipe out Trude's Terminators. There was a 5-inch gap we needed to close. Unfortunately, we were on a 4 on the charge distance. Random charge came to bite us in the ass. In the combat, I think Trude killed 6 more Guardsmen without losing a single Terminator. She was pretty good on her invulnerable saves from our Power Fist. Let's see what happens next turn. That Land Raider and that Mephiston are dangerously close and looking pretty unstoppable.
Heroic Blood Angels turn 3. The Storm Raven was stuck after it got shot last turn, so instead of flying over here and landing on these guys and wrecking himself, he switched to skimming So he was stuck there for this turn, so he disgorged his passenger, who wandered over here, successfully charged this, and then failed to chop it. Not surprising. The Storm Raven unleashed some shots. The Land Raider came all the way over here and unleashed some shots. End result being there's only one dude left here from the platoon command squad. Over here, carnage ensued. Yeah, the Sanguinor leapt in, the Terminators did their job, and I've lost a chap with a storm shield, and that's it, and the rest of the Impy Guards are gone, so there's just Lord Commissar in the middle and one guy left. Mephiston ran all the way over, punched the now missing tank, and is running back to the centre again. The veterans passed their reserve role, came in, destroyed most of this squad, and there's just the sergeant left. And that's it for us this turn.
Okay, Blood Angel Impy Guard, turn 3. The other Vendetta arrived. It's actually up here at the moment, but I'm not going to leave it up there because the model is only precarity balanced and it passed its dangerous terrain roll. And it shot at the Storm Raven, which was hiding over there in the woods. It hit all 3 times, penetrated all 3 times, and blew it up. Pretty good result. Over this side are 2 vehicles spread sideways to give the Dreadnought more options of what to charge at. And our troop unit over there, that little lone solitary guardsman, is making a beeline for this objective. And then we shot at the Dreadnought with our scouts, who were just about in his rear arc, and we managed to shake him, which is pretty good. The Land Raider, you'll notice, is still completely unscratched, even though this turn we got 2 melter guns in at half range and 1 multi-melter in at half range. I missed with the multi-melter and failed to penetrate with the 2 melter guns that hit. That thing is living a charmed life, we just can't hurt it. Big tank there and the Whirlwind both fired at Mephiston, hoping to deal some wounds, but failed to deal any. But this Vendetta, which was jinking, so it's only hitting on 6s, fired all 3 las cannons at him and managed to put 2 wounds on him. Excellent rolling by Chris. Over here, what a shock, you will notice there is a lack of a Devastator squad, and the remains of the Vanguard veterans are there after butchering them. Now we go around to this combat. Our Librarian has split off from his Terminators because his 3+ armour save would put him at a disadvantage against all the power weapons that Troo's got in there. But our 3 Terminator armour dudes went in with their 2+, and it's actually pretty favourable for us because the Sanguinor's in there and there's a Lightning Claw guy, but none of them have got the AP to beat our armour, which is good. Our Commissar, who is still alive there, challenged, and the Sanguinary Priest accepted, and he killed the Sanguinary Priest. Excellent. He's got the Warlord power that gives us an extra victory point every time we win a challenge with him, so that's 1 victory point up for us. Let's see what Troo does on her turn.
Blood Angel's turn 4. The Land Raider stayed where he was and pivoted so that all of his weapons were available to shoot at this squad here. They took 4 wounds, they lost 4 chaps, and then they broke, so they are running towards the Land Raider. Over here, veterans murdered everything, and they've now run over here and then gone to ground on this lovely bit of terrain. We've lost our final sergeant with his power claws, but the rest of this is balanced. The Sanguinor did nothing and they did nothing. He's a coward. He's not mine, he's just a coward. Mephiston ran over, punched a bike in the face, ripped its head off, and is now continuing on to try and deny that objective over there. Other than that, this poor chap over here who is standing still and couldn't fire took some snapshots at one guardsman who had to go to ground to save his life and succeeded. So...
Not bitter.
Not bitter at all.
Okay, it's the end of Blood Angel Impy Guard turn 4, and it's also the end of the game, as you shall see. The 2 Vendettas both went into hover mode. This one backed up, and this one siphoned sideways, and they opened fire with their 6 las cannons on that little smear you can see down there that used to be Mephiston. He went to ground and made one of his saves, but unfortunately, or fortunately from our point of view, he bought it. The veteran squad that were embarked upon that Vendetta piled out the side, and they showed the Space Marines how you're supposed to use melter guns. unloading all 3 melter guns into the side of the Land Raider, exploding it first ask. The Lemon Russ over there and the Whirlwind poured fire into the last 3 remaining Vanguard veterans, managing to kill one of them. In the combat, the Sanguinor challenged and was accepted by the Sergeant. The Sergeant died valiant death, but managed to keep our Warlord alive for the turn. These guys rallied and have moved on to the objective, and the Scouts there opened fire and managed to kill the Dreadnought. Excellent firing from the Scouts this game. So at that point we decided to call it a day, because the only 2 troops Troo has left is those 2 guys down there, and we have, as you can see, an awful lot of firepower on the table. And the only other thing Troo has live is the Sanguinor, who's locked in combat with some 2+ save guys. So, how do you guys think the game went? It was, again, practice for the tournament for Chris and myself with our 2-man army. So Chris, what do you reckon?
Yeah, it's definitely changed some of the points. It's a small points change we need to make, really, but that Land Raider was really causing us some grief, which we could have dealt with.
We just couldn't hurt him with stuff. I mean, we had melter guns, which kept on missing and failing to pen, but we're thinking a couple of extra melter bombs, aren't we?
A couple of melter bombs, rather than the heavy stubber on the Eradicator, would probably give us a little bit more reassurance that we've got more approaches to like that heavily armoured.
Yeah, I mean, we've got 10 points. We've been not struggling, but we're unsure what to spend it on. I think 2 melter bombs is now solidified in our mind that it's the best option to go for.
Yeah, it certainly seems like it would give us more optional attacks against heavy armour, which is one of the things we've got.
I mean, at the tournament, because it's a 2-man tournament, we're unlikely to see a list with quite so much heavy hitters as we got in Troo's list today.
This proper, against the proper 2000 list, it's been very heavy firepower. So but then again, on the flip side, our units have done what our units are supposed to.
Yeah, I mean, our army's mainly here to kill troops, isn't it? And Troo took Mephiston, Sanguinor and a Land Raider. Have you got anything to add about our list, Troo? What do you reckon was our weakness or strength, as it were?
Well, you say that you've got a troop-killing army, and yet you've managed to destroy a fully unified, very aggressive 2,000-point Blood Angel army.
It is true.
So I think you've actually got a far more survivable, well-balanced army than you think you have.
Yeah, I mean, we lost a fair amount of stuff. When your things came across the board, our Blob Squad had died in the last turn, but the Commissar Lord's still alive, who was awesome.
Oh, he was great.
When we rolled on the Warlord chart and got the one where we get an extra victory point for every kill we get in a challenge, Chris and I were like, well, that's a bit pointless.
On the Lord Commissar, yeah, I don't think we're getting that. And he's come out with 2.
Yeah, he killed a sergeant and an apothecary. Excellent times. Apart from that, I'm really happy with the army. We just need to do a little bit more painting, and then we'll be ready to go the end of next month.
Indeed.
Hopefully we'll see some of you guys there.
Hey!
Thanks for watching.